Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review Fantasy Royal VR, a game released on the Steam Store February 18th, 2021 by developer JH Soft Company Limited. It's available for the HTC Vive. It normally retails for $9. However, it was in early access prior to the release, and I actually got it as a free-to-play title back on November 16th, 2020, and it just took me a while to play it, but I actually got it as a free-to-play, and then it released out of early access as a paid game for $9. And to be honest, I'm not sure there was any difference between the free-to-play early access title and what was released on the Steam Store for $9. I did test this game out on the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable. I did not experience any issues. Fantasy Royal VR is a strategy battle game set in a sci-fi world. There's 4 different maps you can choose and 3 different races. However, to be honest, I did not notice any difference at all really between the races. Yes, they technically have different skins. You can choose between the humans, the aliens, or the predators. However, as far as the types of offensive weapons you can use, they're pretty much very similar, if not exactly the same. So there really is no strengths or weaknesses between the races. They pretty much have the same type of offensive weapons or defensive weapons available. And similarly, with the 4 maps, they're all laid out exactly the same. So there really is no real difference between the 4 maps other than the skin, other than the environment looking different. So in effect, there really is no real strategy here with the maps or the choosing of the races. Really, it's just a strategy of managing your mana. You have to select which troops to use depending on how much mana you need to blunt the enemy's attack and to also be able to start your own offensive threat against the enemy. The real strange thing about this game is the 4-minute time limit. It seems like it's just way too fast, so there's not much strategy involved. You kind of have to quickly start an offensive threat as soon as you get an opportunity, and then if you knock one of their towers down, you're likely to win, and as long as you don't lose your own tower. So a lot of these games do end up in ties when I played them, just because there was so little time and the game just ends just as you're really getting into the groove of mounting your own attack. Unfortunately, I found that the more I played this game, the strategy pretty much stayed the same always, and as long as you figured out that strategy, this game really is no challenge at all. You just do the same thing. It doesn't matter what race you use, it doesn't matter what map that you're on, the strategy just stays exactly the same, and it's more about just overwhelming your enemy and finding the opportunity to mount your offensive while not forgetting about your own base. Fantasy Royale VR is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 90 frames per second. However, there were no settings at all in this game. You do have teleportation, but you only use it during the menu, and the interactions here are pretty simple. You basically use one touch controller where you have all your battle troops, and then you just select it with the other touch controller, and it's just a matter again of just managing the mana, making sure you have the appropriate troops, and knowing the best time to use each of the troops. So it's just a matter of gaining that experience, knowing when to use the troops at the right time, and really just overwhelming the enemy when you see an open lane of attack to their base. And that's really something I did not like, because it seems like you were just experimenting during the whole game, because you don't have really this information prior to using the troops. You just gotta learn by trial and error. There is no information about these troops within the game itself to tell you what are the troop strengths and weaknesses, what they do. You just gotta learn by experience. So this is not a terrible game. It's fun for a little bit, but it soon devolves, and like I said, since there is no real strategy, there is no real growth after you just learn the different troop strengths and weaknesses, and there is no reason to continue playing after you learn what each of them do. If this were a free-to-play title, I could recommend it. However, now with the sale price of $9, I just can't recommend it. It's just too simple, too basic, and there's not a lot of fun to be had here after you've played it for about 30 minutes. There just isn't enough depth behind the real simple gameplay. So if I have to rate Fantasy Royal VR, I would give it a 4 out of 10. When this was free to play, I might have recommended it, but at $9, there's just isn't enough here. It's a game that you might play and might have fun the first few times you play it, but after that, there's just really nothing there. It lacks depth. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you like my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.